Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for tuning in with us today. Cars Commerce released its Industry Insights report, which takes a look at the market in the first half of the year. Joining me now to discuss the findings is Rebecca Lindland, who is the Senior Director of Industry Data and Insights at Cars Commerce. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for having me on, Jim. Look forward to talking with you.
Sure. So what are the most significant changes observed in the market since the beginning of the year? What are some of the things that stand out to you?
Some of the things that really stand out to me are the stability of these very high prices. And the prices have gone up over $11,000 since 2019.
Oh my gosh.
And it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're sticking. So we're at about $49,000 for the average new car. And that's both mass market and luxury. That doesn't, that's not just, the fancy ones. This is what this is what a consumer is facing when they come onto the dealer lot. It is true sticker shock. And then when they go to actually finance the vehicle, they're also, of course, facing very high interest rates as well.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And it's a concern that dealers have, consumers have, and even OEM executives that I've spoken to, it's a concern of theirs that this affordability factor is really, an issue that we're going to have to address here in the future. I mean, as soon as we get up, near $50,000 for the average price of a new car, people are just shocked by that, right?
They really are. And then the other challenge too is that we're facing an ongoing shortage of good, high quality used cars.
Yeah.
So even there, the average price is over $36,000 if you can find the car that you want. So there's a lot of challenges to somebody buying a car. We've actually taken out the filter on cars.com, our marketplace site, where you don't need to decide whether you're shopping for a new or a used car. We're just showing consumers what's available so that they can make the best choice for themselves. But part of that is because of these very high prices that the industry is facing.
Yeah, for sure. And as we all know in the industry, these cars in the last 20 years have been built so much better than they were in the previous 20 years that people are holding on to them, but at the same time, they're also maintaining their value. And, it used to be that the vehicle, you drive it off the lot and it loses, $10,000 or more. And that's just not the case anymore, right? It's got the technology, it's got a fantastic engine in it, backed by, in some cases, a 10-year warranty, depending on the brand, of course. But these cars are just being built better. So I think that the consumer today looks at pre-owned vehicles as more of an alternative than maybe they did in the past. Does that make sense with the consumers and what you're seeing?
Absolutely. This is one of the pressures that the manufacturers are facing, is that consumers expect their cars to be really rolling smartphones, rolling offices.
Right.
We expect them to entertain our children in the back seat.
That's right.
It's all of these, and of course, be safer than ever, providing all of the features of, all the ADAS features when it comes to lane departure warning and blind spot monitoring, all of this, consumers are asking for an awful lot from their vehicle. Yeah. And because of that, prices are going up. So we've got a variety of factors that come into both the new car prices as well as you say, how long these vehicles are lasting. So it's really a challenging market to understand all these different nuances. Yeah. At the end of the day, though, one of the positives that we see is that we are seeing improving choices and inventory at dealer lots. So especially on the new car side. So unlike this time last year, consumers actually are going to be able to find the car that they want on their new car dealer lot. Mm-hmm. It's just that it's going to be more expensive than they may have encountered in the past.
That's right. And, the industry has already gone through this extended financing to make to lighten the load a little bit on the monthly payments. We're already up to 72 and 84 months as kind of a standard now. The rate factor, or the rates are a factor with consumers for sure. Hopefully in September, those will come down. That should help the cause, right?
It will eventually. essentially come down from a car loan standpoint. And one of the things that we always impress upon both our dealer customers and our consumer customers is to figure out what you can afford.
Yeah.
Before you go to a dealer lot, you should do a payment calculator like we have on cars.com, where you can figure out what you can afford as a consumer, right? The dealer then can also guide the consumer to make sure they don't overpay, because then frankly they're going to be underwater in that vehicle. They're going to owe more than they can afford, and then they're going to delay the purchase of their next vehicle.
Yeah.
So you really want to get the consumer into the vehicle that meets what their wants and needs and their wallet. That's going to ensure that they have a better ownership experience from your dealership.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Talk to us about new and pre-owned EVs. Where does it stand? I mean, obviously we've heard so much about, you know, the EV revolution slowing way down. You know, the OEMs are dialing everything back because the consumer just isn't there waiting for EVs to hit the lot or to hit the showroom at the level that they thought, you know, a few years back that they would be. So where does that stand today? Do consumers want EVs, and what's happening in that realm?
So we are actually, this is a crazy stat. So from 5 years ago, we have seen searches on the cars.com marketplace site up 930% from 5 years ago. Consumers are looking and researching new EVs. One of the benefits too is that we've switched from an ordering system of acquiring your vehicle to actually stocking them on the dealer lots. And this means that a consumer can go and test drive that Ford Mustang Mach-E, you know, or the new Chevy Equinox that just came out. Instead of ordering it and kind of not having a good idea of what you're getting, they can go to the dealership, pick out the vehicle, the EV that they want. This is a huge benefit because, of course, anytime you drive an EV, you've got, you know, this wonderful instant torque. You've got a lovely quiet experience. There's so many positives about an EV that you don't see until you actually drive one.
That's right. That's right. And we had a show here recently. We talked about the need for salespeople, because that's really where the rubber meets the road in the industry with the consumer, is with that sales associate and also the BDC people. We got to get them in EVs as well, because they're not going to sell anything that they themselves aren't sold on, right? I mean,
absolutely. You have to experience the vehicle yourself.
Right.
And again, this is also where the dealer can really play a key role.
Yeah.
I describe an EV purchase as a very local purchase. And by that, I mean, oftentimes there's incentives for, you know, installing an at-home charger, but those incentives may come from your own town. They may come from your county, from your state level, not just federal incentives, but really know and be knowledgeable about your local incentives. Again, as your consumer comes into your dealership, you can then advise them and say, hey, you know what? Listen, our town just implemented an incentive to install a home charger. We do recommend at Cars Commerce, we recommend consumers first off look at charging at home. It is by far the best way to maintain and own an EV. Yeah. Short of that, at least know where your local public fast chargers are. You want to look at level 3, not level 2, where you could be there for 4 and 6 hours at a time.
Right.
But you know, again, as you talk about at the dealership, they need to be excited and knowledgeable about EVs as well.
That's right. That's right. Rebecca Lindland, Senior Director of Industry Data and Insights at Cars Commerce. Thank you so much. For those of you interested in learning more, you can go to Cars Commerce to get the complete information that you're looking for. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us on the show. This is very insightful for a lot of our viewers and dealers, and we'd love to have you back to talk more about this. There's so many more areas to cover.
Always happy to be on, Jim. Thank you so much.
Thank you.